Hi everyone, can you hear me and how's the sound quality?
Hello, all good.
Okay, great. Um, okay then I will have to share my screen so we can start working on things. Um, all right. Okay, so my Windows subsystem is being shared. All right. So maybe before and while I am opening materials, maybe guys you can remind us what we did previous time. What do you remember from previously overlooked materials? Okay, okay, nothing was placed in the chat except an um okay well you answering the question um answering the question about Um, just commenting the written about the exercise as well. Well, definitely you can submit them whenever you like, whenever you have time. So no worries about this. Yeah, and hello for those who just connected. Okay, yeah, so let's take a look. Um, let's take a look on what do we have. The next things we need to take a look at. All right. So literally, you didn't mention things which we went through previous time. Things were related to the work in the ways GUI. We overlooked that steganography thing, and we took a look on one of examples of combining those things into one so-called Python file. So we could have like buttons, we can click them, and we can receive some results. I suppose that was the last thing which we took a look at. And literally, that's why we had two opened assignments that involve Caesar Schiffer and the calculator. Um, well, I see that three students submitted the calculator, but I will take a look on those submitted assignments a bit later. Okay, so working with the files. Okay, well, at this point, we will be talking about the Python things related to this. So guys, the question for you, maybe you already worked with files within another programming languages, maybe C++ or some other programming language. So did you have an experience working with files? Okay, JavaScript. Okay. Is there any other programming language you tried related to working with files?
C++.
The C++. Okay, great. Um, all right. So especially if that would be the C++, well, what do we do working with files? Well, we open in file, we read information from the file, or maybe we write information into the file, and then we close the file. Literally, that procedure will be just repeated in the Python. So the principle is the same actually. So let's take a look on these things. We'll be working with files, like we would be working with so-called streams for the data. Like we're working with the texts, um, well, in similar manner, we'll be working with files. Well, literally, streams themselves, they used in a lot of different manners. For example, we can have an input of information which can be organized using stdin stream. I suppose you remember that like we had in the introduction materials, when we had a task related to finding out emails in the text. So maybe you remember that example. There we use the input from the full file pre-created, and that's just one of ways how to use it. Another very simplified thing is related to having an input stream from the user typed, uh, and again that's just a classical type of the stream. And the same happens for the output streams. Like we have three output streams for a CMD window. Like we have the regular text, we have the warning messages, we have error messages. A difference between them is just warning messages will be printed out in yellow color, and the error messages will be printed out using a light red color. Um, but anyways, so what we have to start with. We will be starting accessing files using command open. The same command can be found out mm, um, in C++, and, and that would assume us the file name, and we can use the relative name, or we can use absolute name for the file. Then we can have the access modes. And then we can have the buffer in memory. That can allow us to have some memory as the storage between the file itself and the interface that operates with the file. What could be those? Oh, there is one line which appears from another text, but okay, let's ignore this one. So it just means those modes of the access. So what are they? They go for the written. They go for the written in the binary mode. They go for the written and writing. They can go for the written and writing for the binary mode as well, or it can be just used for the writing the information, or there is a specific case of the files, which textual files that allows information to be fully rewritten, can be added to the end of the text. I mean, to the end of the content of the file, and there is the access for the textual files that that allows to pull something like the cursor inside the file and then add additional text into that file. So here we have these mostly used modes for accessing the file. And we can literally, during the work of with the file, we can get access to parameters of the file. So the open function's result has to be assigned to a variable. For example, in this case, variable will be a file, and then using a point and then writing the subvariable name, we can get access to those subvariables. Okay, so here we have a small example. And again, so we already talked about it, but anyways, where for the print we don't have brackets, that meant to be for the syntax is number 2 of the Python. Sorry, when we don't have brackets, it goes for the syntax is 2. When we have brackets, it goes for the syntax is 3. So you can just add brackets for printing the data, and that will work for the syntax string. In this case, as you can see, here I have a small reminder for the case when we use the Linux, but I suppose all the rest would be pretty understandable. Okay. Anyways, let's try this. So let's copy the codes. And let's maybe create some of I don't know some of files. I will be doing that maybe in the Python folder. I will be using this API for storing all this. And since I have the syntax as number 3, so I will be placing additionally brackets. Okay, so at this point, I want to access a full.txt file, which apparently is not existing in this list. Or I can just maybe erase all these things which are not really needed. And then I can run it. So I will be running the CMD that literally works from this current folder. And I will be running the file. Okay, so what do we have here? So we have the name of the file. It's not been closed. Operating mode is written and no, it's written in the binaries. And somehow I don't have this soft space variable. It might be that it just been written somehow maybe differently in the syntax is number 3, or that could be or maybe that could be the function. Let's take a look. No. Okay. Anyways, we're not going to search for this particular soft space because it's not very interesting for us. The main thing is to try these codings. Okay. So anyways, why do we need to close the file? Do we have any ideas, guys? Why a file needs to be closed? And please don't be shy to write your answers.
Maybe so it won't be running all the time in the background.
What do you mean by the background in this case?
I mean, the computer background, like it will be just running for no reason.
Oh, for no reason? How could that be? How could that happen? because actually all of the algorithms they are gonna be written for a reason, right?
Well, yeah, but if you don't close it, maybe it just keeps like running and running and running. I don't know.
Running and running and running. Okay, an interesting theory. Maybe some other ideas. Okay, I see that because okay, it might be it will be removed from memory. Not really. Maybe some other ideas.
And also, sometimes if you have opened a file, you cannot use it with some other software as well. Sometimes it's not allowing to
Exactly.
make changes.
Exactly. Thank you. We might say this more often when we use Microsoft software, right? That's one of very obvious cases when this happens. So literally, when we open a file, we have something like the temporary file created. That temporary file creation is just a thing which was invented by the Microsoft, which allows, well, frankly saying, allows visually to see that files is being overtaken by whatever software. In the same time, the same thing happens for any other open file, but we don't see that. For example, we open file within our software. We try to maybe work with that. It's been still opened, and we cannot get access to that from another software. Then you might ask something like the following. What if having the file, I will be open that with, let's suppose, two applications. Okay, let me maybe open the full options, and I will be accessing that, for example, hmm, and I will be accessing that, for example, using maybe a notepad. Okay, I have no idea why it wasn't opened, but anyways, okay, by the notepad. Yeah. So you see, I have it opened in Notepad, and at the same time I have it in Notepad++. So there might be the question, well, how these things could happen? Idea would be very simple. We don't have the file opened during operating with the text in this editor. A file was just read once, and that's why we have text over here and text over here. And right after that, reading the file was closed, and that makes the access of the file within every of these editors. Okay, let me close all this. Yeah. So I suppose idea would be more or less clear. Um, yeah. Okay, in the same time, here we have this txt file, and okay, our software is being closed, but okay, it was closed by the error in the in the code. Well, in the same time, we can get access to this file, so I can open that in the editor. As you can see, I can write something, I can save it. In the cases when we're working with files, opening them without closing, using classical programming languages like C, maybe C++, C Sharp, Delphi, and others, files will be still after project termination still will be opened. In such how to say simplified programming languages as Python, in most of the cases they're gonna be closed. But again, that's only for the case of termination. And again, not in all of the possible cases that happens. So that's why, anyways, we need to have the file be closed. Okay, let's return to materials. So what we need to close the file? So we need to have the reference for the file or variable that's being used for the file, like this one, and we need to run the close function. And that will make the file closed. Okay, so you say, I run the file, I created a new file, and now I just close that. Surely we have closed or not the file. So initially it showed us false. And for example, we can run this close or not again, and that's gonna give us true. So the file is being closed. So by that variable, you can just make check that file is being closed. Okay, so reading and writing files. It's fine that we can get the access to files. So that's understandable. That's pretty nice. Another thing, well, what can we do with those files? What are ways for operating them? And in this case, the story is super simple. Let's take a look how data is gonna be pulled and taken out from the file. So besides the case that we can write information both binary and in a TXT way for the file, we can literally add whatever sort of symbols into the file. And then when we will be overlooking the file, for example, in a textual editor, all of those symbols will be placed and will be converted to a textual symbols. So just keep this in mind. And if we are working primary on the text and the textual files, so we will need to have be working on new character lines, which from the same happens in every in every programming language. Okay, well, for example, here we have our text, and what is going on here? So what do we do here? So we are creating the file, and we write information into the file. So Python is great language, it's great. Okay, awesome. So what's gonna be written? Text, new line symbol, text, and the new line symbol. Let's figure out if that's really so. Let's run it. And what do we have? Okay, it might be that we have problems with quotes because when we copy text from the PDFs, we can have sometimes errors. So we are copying not really correct symbols. Let's try to run it again. All right. I will maybe erase this file, and I will try to run it again. Okay, so it's being created, but we have problems with writing. So a bytes make object is required. not string. Okay. So what is happening here? So we try to have the binary file, but at the same time we give non-binary data. Okay. Then let's maybe check parameters for writing. Sorry, for accessing the file, and let's pick the necessary one. Okay, so W would be open the file for writing only. Okay, let it be so. So we change that, we save that, and we are running that script again. Okay, so the script is being run. And what do we have? Okay, so as you can see, we have these two lines of the text, and we have enter signs in the end of each of them. So very simple, I would say. Okay, so we're moving forward. All right. Okay, so we're capable to read information from files. Okay, and let's see what we will be doing. Okay, so we will be accessing to the file for reading, and we'll be using the read of 10 bytes. Well, in this case, we have to literally split bytes and symbols, because for the regular programming languages, as we know, a byte actually is the equivalent of the symbol. And here, literally by default, depending on the versions, it's gonna be the same, and in particular cases, we can just encode the text. For example, like we had in the example file in the example task file, we had Unicode sizing, Unicode text sizing. Okay, so let's maybe create the file. Oh, actually, we already have this foo.txt. What did we have there? We had Python's great language. Okay, let's read first 10 bytes from the file. Now I will be copying this code. I will be placing that inside. And since I will be using the third syntax, so I'm adding brackets to print out function. Okay, let's see if that's gonna be working. Well, yeah, and that works. So you have 3, 3, 3, 9. No, we have 3, 3, 3, and the 10 symbol. Yeah. So literally that's the text which was being read. If we will be having 11 symbols or 11 bytes from the file, so we'll be accessing additional symbol from the text, like this one, this A. But I suppose this one would be understandable. And this type of reading is just a reading from the beginning of the file. That's gonna be figured out. And actually, the result of the reading could be something. It could be some text, and at the same time, as we understand, it could be even not the text itself, but something else. And if you like, we can just read a symbol by a symbol or a byte by a byte from the file. And once we receive none of the information, then we reach the end of the file. Okay, anyways, the first thing is to get how we can go within the file as the cursor goes within the text. So You can imagine that working with the file, just going inside the file, is like to have the cursor that basically can be moved between symbols. And we have function tel that literally gives you a position of that cursor, and function seek actually sets up the position of the cursor within that textual file. And actually, it's so not even in only textual files, but even in binaries. Let's take a look on example. Okay, well, I suppose we remember this example, right? And we can literally fulfill that with additions. Like we can take this thing in a such way. So we will be having the Python is for this text. Then we will be having the current position of the cursor. It's gonna be printed out. And then by the function seek, we will be placing cursor back to the position of 0, so literally in the beginning of the text. And then we'll be reading again symbols, and actually that will be starting from the cursor's actual position. Okay, let's take a look at what we will have. So you see, we have red symbols, we have a position of the symbol, and we have that text written again after pulling the cursor in the beginning of the file. All right. Well, there maybe could be questions about trying to read a file fully. Maybe I can just show you some of the results, like we could have while, maybe reading just one symbol, and we could be just printing that text out. Well, something like this. Printing a symbol by symbol. Let's see if I didn't make any mistakes. Okay. So we cannot have combined syntaxes. Okay. So in this case, it's gonna be in a such way. Let's try it. Yeah. And you can see Python is the greatest language. Yeah, it is. Okay, maybe I need to work on something in addition. Like, yes, the print actually itself, it shows us, it literally writes additional text, right, in the terminal. And this print actually adds the line end, um, which is the enter, right? Okay, literally, what was the possibility to avoid this? And possibility to avoid this was to have the second parameter, which is the parameter of the end, like for the print. We can have parameter and we can just use names of them. And that's gonna be just an empty symbol. So instead of the default one, which is /n, we're having just an empty text. And if we will be refreshing, or let's say rerunning the code right now, we'll be having that written normally. So you can see that's literally the way how that's possible to read information fully from the textual file. So as you can see, well, that's really simple to implement. Guys, are you good so far?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Okay. All right then. If we are good so far, so let's continue. So renaming and deleting the files. Okay, Frank is saying these options they have to be overlooked actually, and we can use operating system functions. For that purpose, we'll be needing to get access to the library of operating system. Such library of operating system actually works in a similar manner as in C++. We'll be adding Windows library that literally provides mostly the same functionalities. And here we're using rename functions, so we're just given names, and names can be both absolute and relative. Okay, so let's change something here. So let's import the operating system library, and let's then use the rename function for our foo.txt file. So we'll be having another one. So we had foo.txt, and now we will have foo123.txt. Okay, so let's see if that will be working. Yeah, so we have it, and we have foo123.txt file, which is Frank is saying exactly that thing which was necessary for us. Okay, so next let's try to have a file deleted. Well, for that purpose, we'll be using just remove function. And again, there is nothing very interesting, and there will be one parameter that stores deletable file's name. Okay, so let's run the script, and here we are running out of that file. Okay, well, that will be looking great. What else would be well, quite interesting? We would be needing to work with some folders, and for folders creation we'll be using mkdir. Well, if you know, for example, PHP programming language, you'll find out that well, such command is really looks the same like there. And in the same time, we are having such function that literally change the folder. So the question for you guys, where else do we see such a need to have the current folder changed of the application?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay, so in what solutions can we expect to have the current folder changed? What kind of solutions those could be?
Maybe if the files were moved somewhere else.
No, not really. You can just move them by using rename.
When you're installing an app, it lets you choose where you want to install it. But before it suggests
Not
like
really.
the recommendation.
Not really. Maybe you can think of something more global.
When one script wants to run another script, then it has to point to the specific place, and then you want to run change directory command.
Yes, Frank is saying that that's correct. Yes, and actually there could be another answer for this, like the case when application is about to work with the relative names of the files, but those files are located somewhere else. Then you will be just forced to use then you will be forced to change the current folder. And that's one of the mostly used cases. Okay, let me show you guys. So let's suppose firstly I will create the folder using this one mkdir. Okay, I will be having mkdir. Okay, and then I will be changing the folder to the test. So I will be still within my script, but all relative path will be working for the folder which is current for my app, and that will be already the test folder. And what I will be doing in addition, I will be making the file there. Okay, I will copy maybe the script that makes something that creates the file, like this one. And after going inside the test folder, this txt file will be created. And let's see what will happen, because one thing is to assume, another thing is to try and run. Okay, so we have it. Oh, okay, again, the problem with those codes. Let me add them again. Let's run it. mkdir test. Okay, it already exists. So I will just erase it. So we wouldn't have this problem. And let's run it again. Yes. The problem with these bytes. Sorry for that, guys. Let's try it again from the very beginning. Okay, so we have it. So we have the folder test. When it's created, then we go inside that folder and it becomes the current one. And here we use the relative path to create the file inside this folder, inside the current folder. So literally that's the way how it works. And if we would be continue working within that script, we'll be adding new files right here, right in this folder. So I would say, well, pretty easy. Okay, well, anyways, that's kind of the basic thing. In the same time, we might be confused sometimes when we run the code, which folder is the current one, and we can actually get the current folder's path using this get get cwd function. Well, maybe let's copy it and let's maybe print it. Okay, and let's run it then. So okay, I have double I in print. Okay, let's run it. Yeah, and you can see that here is my the current path. Well, surely if I will be having would be having this test, like I will be changing the folder, then I would be then the current folder would be within the test folder, as you can see. All right. Well, as we know, for every command we can have the opposite command. And for example, here we can have here we can have the opposite operation for creation of the um, of the um, of the folder, so removing the folder. So rmdir, and then we can have absolute or a relative path. So since we have the test, so I'm gonna to erase this test folder. So I will be using rmdir, and that's it. And let's erase it. But as we can see, this function literally shows us that it's impossible to be done because we have something inside, right? Okay, so there could be a question. Well, what can we do if we still have something inside? Okay. Here we have several options to what it's possible to be done. One of them is to try to use totally another library, and that library is going to be shutils. So we can use shutil for that shutil, and then we can get access to that literally using rm3. But it's only one of possible solutions, and well, it depends if you have that library. Okay, so we run that, and as we can see, we don't have this folder anymore and its content. Well, as you can see, it's really, well, nothing super complicated, right? Well, the only tasks for some well, let's call it try or well. Well, I would say you just need to try these things out, and literally, well, that's it. I would say. Okay, so guys, how do you find this working with files? Well, I really hope it looks like something pretty simple, right? Is it?
I mean, it's not hard, but
Yeah.
like it looks simple, yeah, but there's those names that you need to remember or just have somewhere to look at.
Well, exactly, because actually, how else you could well, you could make it, right, without practicing, isn't it?
Yeah, like we would need practice a lot.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so well, we have plenty of classes, right? And I have one a very well, let's call it classical task for you guys, because you already know the basics, I would say. And my idea would be the following. Let me show you that task definition. And frankly saying, it's not really related to files, but just trying to make an interesting solution, which I suppose would be interesting for us. And here we would have a definition. Well, let me know if you have seen such task. Then if you have seen it, just in case you have seen such one, then we can switch to another one if you like. But here we have the following application, and it's very simple. It's literally doable in some 30 lines of the codes. So, at least I would do that approximately at 30, 40 lines of the codes. So, so we have robot in the labyrinth. So you would have to have the grid 20 by 20. You would need to fill that array with values from 1 to 9. And you have the robot, which actually is the actor which will be moving through that matrix autonomously. Like an NPC in the game, you know. So that's gonna be in the left top corner. And what you have to make its movement for, and it looks around in 4 directions: left, right, top, and bottom. So it looks around and looks for the biggest value and goes to the cell with the biggest value. And all cells which the robot reaches becomes 0. For example, here we have the case: robot looks in left, top, right, bottom directions, finds out that 7 is the biggest value around, and goes to the 7. And the previous position has to be a 0. So, so the robot ends its movements in a case when it has no ways to go. So if around the robot we have perimeter or we have zeros. Well, about the perimeters, they can be maximum from 2 sides if the robot is in the corner, so we cannot go across the border. And from all the rest sides we have zeros. So at that case, this going through such array to dimensional array, it has to be finished. Otherwise, you have to make these movements in a loop. So the question for you guys: is the task clear for you?
I mean, the task is clear. How to be done is not clear.
I have a question. Numbers should be randomized?
You can randomize it, or if you like, you can just use well, if I'm not mistaken, we already took a look on the randomizer actually, but if you need, we can go it through again.
And one more question: it should be vanilla Python, no GUI libraries, nothing.
No, because you have the output, right?
Yeah,
You have the CMD output, and you can literally make the output of the matrix,
yeah.
right?
Okay, just double checking. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you don't need anything here. I would say. Okay. Another thing about the randomizer. So you can have something like the following. So you can have the values, for example, between 1 and 9, and that would come from the random library. So so let's say we have a random library, and we have print that literally shows you the number between 1 and 9, and let's see if that's even. So you see, each time you access this, function with these parameters, you have value between 1 and 9. Makes sense, right? If you need this particular code, I will send you this code in the chat then. Okay, so you have it in the chat. So guys, is there anything else you would need to know for this task? What would you say? Yeah, let's get to work. That's exactly what I was thinking to advise. Because you need to practice on all this, and looking on materials like you would look on the YouTube, like without trying. Well, it's not practical. So please, guys, having your knowledge, try to implement this. Okay, I don't know how much time it will take you, but let's try to make it by by today. But anyways, maybe during the half an hour you probably will make this. Okay, let's do like this. So I won't disturb you for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And you keep trying to make this task, and after 10 or maybe 15 minutes, I will be back, and then I will ask you about your progress. Once you will have any questions, please write them in the chat. Once I will see them, I will try to comment them. Okay, then good luck, and try making this. And in 10 or 15 minutes, I will ask you about the progress. Okay, guys. So I won't disturb you for this period of time. So guys, how is your progress? Okay, slow but getting there. Okay, so it means you need just more time, right? And what's about others? Okay, trying, but it's hard. Actually, it needs only for construction, if construction, a couple of variables, and thinking of how to make this look on the left, right, top, and the bottom. Okay, and as far as I understand, those who did it right, how it goes, probably they are kind of keep trying to make this. Okay, so you need more time, right, guys? Did I understand correctly? Okay, okay. All right, then please keep working. And while you're trying, I won't be disturbing you. Okay, so Mindaugas made the array. Well, as we remember, that's gonna be a list of the lists, right? Okay, that's great. And you have to go that through to fill that with data. So what you can do? So yeah, the step by step. So let me maybe show you a bit. So we have for in, like we can have the list that could be like that could be like you have some area. Let's say it would be A. That could be an empty list, and then since that's the list, then we can use spatial functions for them, right? And what are those functions to form the list actually? So who can tell me? That's gonna be appending function, right? To append the list as the, let's suppose, the element of the additional element of the array, right? So for example, you can use append. In Notepad++ we have even some helpers there, and you could have, for example, the array which is gonna be added, right? And by that you literally create two-dimensional structure, right? And then afterwards, that means so you would have the access to A0, right? Surely, if we will try to print that out, right, A0, what we will get? Let's see. We will be getting just an array, right? So literally, if you would like to have 20 elements, you would need to go through this A0 like 20 times, and you'll be adding some elements. For example, you can have something like the following. You could go through the range between 0 and 19, and you can just add values to the A0. Since that's gonna be the array, so you can append values. Well, for example, like this, and then you can print out A0, for example, and that's gonna be the array. So as you can see, right? Another question is about how to have 20 of such arrays. Well, you just have to add more elements to the variable a, right? Well, how to do that? For example, you will be making the following. So you will be going through j as for the rows and I as for the columns, right? And here you will be adding the following. So a append and the array. And by that you will be literally having the two-dimensional array, which frankly saying will be pretty simple stuff. Let's see how that works. Okay, here things are not very correctly done, because literally here we have to use, instead of 0, I. Oh no, sorry, it's gonna be j. It's gonna be j. Because once we add the array, we add the first one with the index 0, then the second one with the index 1, and so on. And each next time we have the index starting with the 0 from the very beginning of the range. So when we do that, we have like 20 by 20 elements, but as you can see, they're not printed very nicely, right? So another question would be how to print them nicely. And frankly saying, you can make an interesting printout. I will show you this, guys. So what you can do, you again can go through these elements, and since we have to literally append elements in the range, I will maybe copy the code from our chat, which I showed you guys. So we would have a one symbol by the value. So it's gonna be the randomized value from 1 to 9. And so what's gonna be then? Next we will need to make the printout of elements. But in this case, I would like to make a printout right there, printout of the value of AGI, which is kind of normal cases we understand, right? And in the end of each line, I'm gonna make an empty printout, like just for having the end symbol or enter symbol in the end of the line. And if you do that, then you see you have a normal array printed out. So that's pretty easy to make. Okay, maybe this code will help you, so I will put that in the chat. Maybe that's gonna help some of you guys. And I will maybe show you again this task. Okay, well, as far as I remember, we have to have 10 minutes break. So guys, let's have a 10 minutes break, and after 10 minutes, well, I would like to ask you to continue working on this solution. So let's have a 10 minutes break, and then let's continue at 5:14 then. Since we right now have 5:03, like it will be the same like 5:04. So let's continue at 5:14. So we're having a break now. Okay, guys. So let's continue working on this small project. And put a plus if you're in the process, just to make sure that you are really connected and you're really working. Okay, so we got 3 pluses. Okay, that's fine. All right, so please continue working on the project, and once you will have any questions, don't be shy to ask. So guys, another 20 minutes have passed. So is there any progress? Maybe you are somewhere in the end of the solution. Okay, no progress at all. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. All right, then maybe I can show you maybe some of the another beginning. What you can start with. Maybe you will find out the way how well what you can do. All right? Can we do it that way? Okay, awesome. All right, so the first of all, let's do the following. Let's create. Well, I will do it in a way as I do regularly. So I will create a variable n, because that will just help us to have this ranges fully dynamical based on one variable. That's awesome. So literally, as you can see, we have an array that's gonna be firstly filled and then printed out. Well, as we understand, the printout is kind of very simplified thing, right? And another thing is that we have a diamond, right? According to the definition, we have this diamond, and by the way, this diamond can be used actually, so you can see, okay, we cannot really pull that inside, but maybe I can use some of the symbols. Give me a minute, give me a second. Oh, well, what do I search for if I have the character map that has all of the textual symbols? Okay, well, let's pick some of the symbols we will be using for the diamond. I don't know which one to choose. All they are way different, one from another one. Okay, let's maybe pick the diamond, so you can see it can be used textually. All right, then let's make the printout. So the diamond has, or the robot, if you like to call it that way, it has to have its own position, right? And initially, we might know that position. So I will call that, right, like the robot X, that's gonna be the horizontal position, and robot Y, that's gonna be the vertical position. So if I have it, right, then as you know, when the robot stands in the matrix, right, then its position becomes a 0. Well, we know that. So we can literally pull that position to a 0. And moreover, guys, we can make the printout based on if that particular position is that one where a robot stands. So if j is equal to the row of the robot, and if I is equal to the column of the robot, then we are printing out the robot sign. Otherwise, we are printing out something else, like the actual value. Okay, let's take that robot character like this one, and literally by that you already will have the diamond in the place where you have it. Let's see how that works. So you see the diamond is in its original position. So literally we got the correct result. Surely I wouldn't like maybe to print this out, so I will be commenting this code just not to have that huge printout which I got here. So you say I get a diamond. So another question is how to make it selectable for the choice. So I will make like the first step of the diamond, and you probably will be capable to continue that, I suppose. Because again, there is no point to show you full solution, and that will just mean that you won't be trying, right? So I will just show you the principle which you can use, and then you can afterwards try to repeat and do that in the same way. So when we have this printed out, we can think of some variables for displacement of the robot. So I will have a displacement for x, which is 0, and displacement for the y, which will be 0, because that will be a step for the robot. Okay, then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have the currently maximal value, which is gonna be found out. And literally I have to take a look around. So literally if I have the current value which is smaller than, well, in our case we have values for on the right and on the bottom. So if I have the current value which is smaller than the value on the bottom, sorry, on the right, then I'm gonna say that now I have a new value, new maximal value found out, right? So that's gonna become the value on the right. And at the same time, I would say, well, I'm gonna make a displacement on the right. So in the same time, if I'm looking down, and that value is bigger than the previous found down, then I say, well, I'm making a one step on the bottom. And what I do afterwards, well, I'm saying that I'm making that step. So I'm moving my robot by those displacements I did, and then and the code for making the printout. And you can see I get two steps, but I have to split them somehow. So I will need to have like additional printout of that enter sign. So we would have they're split. Like here, I had 1 9, so 9 is on the bottom, so the robot goes on the bottom. So you see that we're literally doing one step by that, and and you can literally try to use this code. I will give you that in the chat, and you can try to use it. You can try to change it or fulfill it in a way that robot is gonna make several steps, or maybe infinite amount of steps till the case when till the case when the robot is in a trap. So how do you feel, guys? Is this solution helpful for you? Oh, okay. So Rinvidas already made the solution. Okay. Then let me take a look what you have. The only problem is that we got there no spaces. Yeah, the only we don't have spaces here. So I suppose I will try to pull them according to what I think how it's been done. Okay, most likely here we have the same one. Yeah, the highest name, that one. Okay, I think I did that correctly, but who knows? Who knows if I made those those spacers correctly? I don't know. Let's try. Let's try. No, something is not really correct. Okay, here I have another 4, so looks like it's gonna be this way. But again, maybe I'm wrong because I have no idea what should be and how implemented by this code. Hmm. Okay, I guess I was wrong somewhere in making all this.
I
Okay,
can push it to GitHub and you can test it if you want.
Sorry?
I can put. Oh yeah. No, it's not working correctly.
Okay, maybe you can just upload it somehow.
I can push it to GitHub. Like I need a few minutes and I will push it and share the link.
Okay, that would be awesome. Okay, so while we're waiting for him with the solution, the solution itself looks well, I would say more complicated than it could be. So those who are still trying to make a solution, you can take a look, for example, on the code which I well, basically what I will try to do, maybe I will try to um, do the same thing. Maybe I will try to somehow upload my code somewhere. I don't know. For example, using files FM. It might be that it's a good idea. Yeah, because it will be still, I think, problematic with those spaces. Because the code which I did, well, it's still kind of well, we can mix up things there. Okay, so I will put the link of my code. Hope it will help other students to write the solution. And literally, you can think like what is missing here, because we took a look on the right and on the bottom, but we have to have conditions of being available to take a look on the right and on the bottom, and the same should happen looking on the right and on the top. So try to think, well, what can we add to this logic? So guys, do you understand what could be the next steps in the solution?
Making it loop and move.
Well, yes, that's correct. But primary, this availability to take a look on or in those directions. What makes it possible to find out a case in which you can take a look on the value? Well, the value should exist, right? Yes or no? For example, if you located, let's suppose somewhere, if you located somewhere, for example, where I have my diamond located, right? What makes it impossible for this diamond to take a look on the value on the left?
I
Maybe.
mean, there's no value on the left.
Yes.
So
So you're on the border, right?
yeah.
Yes, and if you know the minimal value for the x direction, which is a 0, and you can always read the position for the x of your diamond or of your robot, according to definition of the task, then you can compare them. And if your position is not 0, so it's bigger than a 0, then you can take a look on the left position of your robot, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and the same it works for every other direction, literally. So guys, is the written code enough for you to continue working on the project? At least to try. Because we have some
At least
additional
to try, yes.
Okay, because we have additional time for this, so yeah. Okay, I will open that definition again, so we'll be able to see this definition. Okay, Remus, thank you for the link. I will take a look on it. I will take a look how it works. Okay, so you're not showing things fully. You're just showing just visited cells. Okay,
yeah, I'm showing the path, and it's in green. So you can see that.
Yeah.
The path that had the neighbors.
Okay, and we have no idea where the diamond is at this point. Okay,
I
but
didn't
I
have
will.
the diamond because I didn't know how.
Okay, but well, anyways, you have this row and column. I suppose they mean that diamond's position, right?
Yes, but because I'm showing the last result, so there is no meaning to add nor asterisks, no other stuff.
Okay, I got your point. Okay, let it be so. Yeah, anyways, your solution is good. Thank you. Okay, so while others are still working on this task, let me think about some other possible task I could give you. Okay, so I have another one for you. Let me show it. Well, while others are working on this thing, so maybe you can try to make the following one. Okay, but surely instead of Java here, for us it will be Python, right? So it's another how to say the classical task.
But I didn't get the point. What this game should do?
Oh, okay. Well. Animals are moving and eating the plants. So once the animal reaches the cell of the plant, so plant is not there anymore.
So it's like based on collision, kinda.
Not collision, but when the animal moves inside the cell where we have the plant, so that it plant is eaten, and once animal goes out, where if we had previously the plant, there should be the empty, the void.
And the movement is created by
Randomized.
randomizing.
Yeah, but keep in mind we have these walls.
Okay, so if it's behind the wall, it cannot be.
So you cannot move to the cell where we have wall.
Okay.
Well, this one might look interesting one, right?
Yeah, but I think it will take some time because even the previous one was pretty hard to do.
Oh, okay, okay. So anyways, as you understand, there is no penalty if you won't make it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just try it. Just try it. Okay, and I will take a look in the chat if we have some updates. Okay, no updates. Okay, well. Anyways, I really hope, guys, that you will make till the end this task related to robot. Anyways, in the end, we will take a look on a possible solution of it. So no worries if you're not gonna make it, not a problem. All these things just takes a time. Is there a case if some of you have some questions, or maybe you just totally stuck at some of the points?
Well, currently stuck at the point where you sent a file.
Okay, so no ideas how to move forward, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. Let's then think. Okay, I will move back to my solution here, and yeah. So let's fulfill all this with looking in different locations and availability to look there. So if we are looking on the right, what makes it possible to look on the right? We're not standing on the right border, right? Is it? So which means that if dx is less than n, n minus 1, because n was 20, and the biggest index then will be n minus 1. So if we have element on the right, then we can look on the right. Same as here. So dy. So if we are not standing on the bottom line, then we can take a look on the bottom, right? Does it make a sense?
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, if we are not on the left border, then we can take a look on the left, and if we have on the left the biggest value, we are going on the left, decreasing x value. Same happens looking on the top. So dx is bigger than 0. So then we can take on the top, so decreasing y value. And going on the top means that we decreasing the y value. And literally, that literally allows to check if we have allowance to go to take a look in those directions. And literally, we can do that. Let's see how that works. So you see we have 1 and 3, so we can look in those directions, and we check values. Okay, 3 is biggest, so we go there. And actually, there's only one thing which is missing here, and what could be that? What would you say? What would be that the very last thing we need to finalize this solution?
To make the previous one as a 0, I don't remember if does it
No,
do
to make several steps, right?
to make a loop.
Yes, exactly. And that's gonna be on you. Because literally I showed you almost everything. This could be even made by the smaller amount of commands actually. So try to think how can we make it in the loop? So in a loop until the case when diamond will be surrounded by zeros, and when it's surrounded by zeros, and when it will be surrounded by zeros, then the loop has to be finished. So think of how to make this. Okay.
I have a question
Yeah, go ahead.
about that animal, plant, and wall stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, is there like a limit how many walls can be there? Because technically it can be 100% generated only walls.
No, not at all. You can just make for loops like pulling them on the borders and then somehow randomized if you like.
And that matrix is 20 on 20? No? No.
I don't know. I didn't count it.
Okay, so I will do it.
Actually, again, you can just make one variable which the size depends on, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did with that n variable. And then you just everywhere mention that n variable, and once you like to rescale it, you just change that
Yeah,
value.
yeah,
That's
okay.
So any progress about that making the loop for the step? Okay, I see. I see the answer, not really. Okay, well then let's I suppose finalize today's things with just overlooking. Well, how can we make those things in a loop then? So, so the first of all, you see, I use the current max, right? Which is -1. So it means that even a 0 will be bigger than -1. So primary, we change it to a 0. Plus 0 minus 0 doesn't matter. 0 is 0. And then we are looping all this. But how? Good question. And it's really simple. So we have dx and dy values. So what do they represent, guys? Yes, and remember this answer is too complicated. Yes, I agree. That's the same thing what I said. So literally that dx and dy, displacement for x, displacement for y. How do you think if we have a robot surrounded by zeros, will it lead us to dx and dy will be something different from a zeros? How do you think? Or it will be always zeros then? Well, what would you say? So, what would you answer? Oh, what do you mean top left? No, if that's 0, then it just stays on the same place. And if it's negative, right? So it goes on the left, goes on the top, right? But not on diagonal, because once we go on the or horizontally, we don't go vertically. Once we go vertically, we don't go horizontally. So literally, well, what can we do? We can make something like the following. I would assume that primary we could just make some dx equal to some value, like non-zero value, just to make it possible to run the while loop. And here we could make the following. So we could make the condition doubled condition for dx and dy. If they are not equal to 0 both, then we literally move in another step. Like it's like if we did a step, we try to make the next step. So if dx dx equal to a 0, which gonna be not, or dy is not 0, then we're making this beginning of the instruction block, and we need to add spaces right there. Well, I will add double space like I do all the time, But I will have to do that for every line. And this will be the last one. Yeah, like this one. So once we run this chunk of the code, which is highlighted, then dx/dy in the end of the iteration will be always like it could be both zeros, it could be non-zero, one of them. And then based on that, we will rerun these conditions. And if condition gives us true, then we run iteration again. Well, I suppose everyone knows how while loop is working. Yeah, so let's run it. Let's see how it works. Oh, well, looks like I did something incorrectly. Okay, so n was 20. So let me check this once. So if dy is less than n minus 1, then we can sorry, not dy, but ry. And here instead of dx it should be rx. Well, that's my fault, guys. Somehow I pulled incorrect variables there, but you see, so we always reach till the case when diamond is surrounded by something, and that literally shows us the final stage of the so-called game. So you see, right, a diamond. So literally that's the way how it's possible to make all this. Surely we could even highlight such paths if you like. Well, as you see, I didn't do that. But anyways, that's the minimal set of what could be done for this. So in the end, how do you find out? Is this solution complicated? How do you find this task? Okay, complicated. But you have to try programming. If you're not trying, it will be the same like just watching some YouTube about programming. It's interesting. It's how to say gamble time, but it doesn't give results. Yes, so I will give that code. I will upload it to Files.fm, and I will share the link. Okay, and here we have it. And okay, so you have it in the chat. Okay, so you have the codes. Just a small reminder. So tomorrow we have 4 classes starting at 9:40. I suppose everyone knows this, right? Is it so? Okay. Anyways, you have to have the schedule. All right. So tomorrow we'll be working
Yeah, we start
on.
9:40.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll be working on data compression. And literally we'll be looking on the algorithms, and primary you will try to make it. After I try to make, we'll be making the method together. Because again, the practice is must have in all this. Okay, guys. So let's finalize today's classes with the frame for Q&As. If we have some questions. So, do we have any questions? Yeah. Well, we have 4 classes until 5 p.m. So yeah, relatively we can say that's gonna be a full day.
It's gonna be a hard day.
Might be. Anyways, as far as I remember, there has to be a lunch break, right? For an hour.
Yes.
So no worries. I think that will be a good time for having a rest between classes. Okay, maybe some other questions. Okay, looks like no questions. Then thanks everyone, and don't forget to be connected tomorrow. Don't be afraid of making codes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, have a nice evening and see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
See you.
Bye bye, guys.